Welcome to the Laymen Economic Podcast, where we discuss personal and business financial concepts in layman terms everyday people can understand. And now, here's your host, John K. Paul.
Hello, Layman's World, and welcome to episode 00 of Laymen's Economics. My name is John Paul, and I'm your host. This is the episode to introduce you, our listeners, to the Laymen's Economic Podcast. The show is designed to discuss personal and business financial concepts in layman's terms everyday people can understand. While the term layman is often used in church to reference a non-ordained or someone who's not a pastor, just a regular member of the church who doesn't have any training in theology or in church. In a professional setting, it is used to describe a person without a professional or specialized knowledge in a particular subject matter. For example, in accounting field, for somebody who doesn't have any accounting background or any kind of financial background, financial terms discussed would be, to a person who doesn't know, would be put in layman's terms, because there are terminologies, for example, like depreciation, double entry bookkeeping, accounts receivable, and, boring stuff like that people, regular people, laymen would not understand. Just in the same way in a medical field with doctors and nurses and such, medical terminology, layman people, an accountant like me would not necessarily understand the terminology. So a doctor would need to put it in layman's terms so that I can understand. So layman's economics, in essence, is designed to take financial concepts, thoughts, economics in a broad sense, and putting them in a way everyone or a person without a professional or specialized knowledge would understand. And our tagline is layman's economics, economics for everyday people. Well, who am I, you may ask. My name is John Paul. I'm an accountant by day, husband, father, brother, son, friend, and a bunch of other hats after hours. And I am the president and CEO of ICFO Consulting, an accounting ministry that was created with the heart to a vision to equip nonprofits, churches, and small businesses with the necessary tool they need to carry out their mission. My background is accounting. I have an undergraduate degree in accounting from Marietta College in Ohio, where it's the pie in the sky, as I like to refer it. I have a business administration degree from Hodges University. I needed that in order to have the necessary credits in order to sit for the CPA exam back then. And I also have an executive MBA degree from Florida Gulf Coast University, also known as Dunk City. Go Eagles. So I also represent them. So I got a master's degree from there. Over 20 years, I essentially grew up as an employee of WCI Communities, then luxury builder that was based out of Bonita Springs, Florida. In 2017, it was bought out by Lennar, a home builder, and that process began the transition of all things WCI, including all the great people. So that began just the process of transitioning, and in that process of transitioning, God spoke to me to, hey, it's time for you to branch out on your own. And after about a year and a half working with some good folks at Icon Management, I decided to start ICFO Consulting. I have a big heart for nonprofit organizations and the life-changing services they provide and serve in. And I serve in various capacities with many nonprofit organizations, from chair of finance committees to treasurer in various organizations, to just regular board member and some. And so I play different roles. Those organizations, most of them, a lot of them are youth development organizations, and I take a lot of pleasure in serving those organizations. It's my heart, and so that's kind of a calling place or a sweet spot for me. I really enjoy doing that, and that's why ICFO, I call it an accounting ministry. Personally, I am married. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Deborah, who, along with her, we have 5 awesome children ranging in age from 8 months to 13 years old. Laymen's Economics began many years ago when I began posting random financial thoughts on Facebook. I did that on a regular basis on weekdays, Monday through Friday, just random thoughts as they came to me. And I would post them as Laymen's Economics. And those things, they're just short one-liners. We never really got long in the description of them, just one-liners. And that's kind of how we progress. So the podcast is a progression and part of the journey I have to serve individuals and business owners as an accounting ministry of sorts, as I mentioned. My goal is to add value to our listeners in this show with each and every show, and I hope everybody will get something. So the format of the show will be a weekly show with new episodes releasing hopefully on Wednesdays to help us get over the hump. The show will feature guest speakers of all walks of life, discussing various topics based on the Laymen's Economics one-liners. For example, one week we may be talking about something that based on this one-liner: beware of wants masquerading as needs. All right. Sometimes we have a lot of wants that we sometimes want to pass on to ourselves, or want our own self to believe that they are needs. And when we do that, then we end up getting, we get it because we want it. And we think we trick ourselves to think it's a need, but it's not a need. Another one is don't put off till tomorrow financial matters you can take care of today. It's the carpe diem for financial matters. Essentially is, if you know you got a bill you need to pay today, don't wait till tomorrow. You take care of it today. Also, money issues sometimes are not really about money at all. There's a heart behind everything. Financial laws of physics. For every financial action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. For every financial action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you don't pay your bills on time, the opposite reaction is that you often have late fees. Bad habits generally have a price tag attached to their baggage. All right. So if you have a bad habit of waking up late, or a bad habit of speeding in a school zone, you will end up having a price tag associated with that bad habit. And that comes in the form of a big, nice ticket and a policeman reprimanding you for driving fast in a school zone. There is no honor in paying more taxes than you are legally obligated. And this is one, again, if, sometimes I think, it doesn't matter how much money you make. And a lot of times the rich gets blamed for not paying enough taxes. But, hey, the law, whatever the law allows them to pay, if they're paying their fair share based on the law, they're paying what they should be paying. And there's no honor in paying more taxes. Control the controllable and be hopeful about the hopeless. And all we can do is control what we can control. Things we can't control, things that are not out of our control, all we can do is be hopeful about them. And hopefully they turn around. We do our part, but control the controllable, the things that you do have control over, you control. Lastly, as an example, financial regret is avoidable. It's avoidable because if you take action beforehand, it doesn't have to be a regret. Okay. So those are examples of what some of the topics we may cover there's many, 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 many more of those. Trust me. I have a long list of those things. And sometimes they're not always my random thoughts. Sometimes my random thoughts are based on a quote. They're based on a quote from a person. They're based on a quote from the Bible, or a verse, or something I was meditating on, or something as I saw it. It could have been I saw a stop sign and that triggered something, or it could have seen that I saw somebody doing something weird on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, and I tweeted about it, or it triggered a random thought. So there's many sources of where those things come from. My goal with the podcast is really essentially at some point is to do a Creole version of the show and launch it in 2020, some point in 2020, God willing. Generally, I'm pretty laid back, flatline kind of a guy, just pretty much mellowed out. And I'm really excited about this podcast and look forward really to interacting with you guys and hearing your feedback and maybe even some of you may be a guest one day. If you feel like you will have something to share, or if you feel like you know somebody who might be a great guest for our audience, that'd be great as well. Thank you for listening to the Laymen's Economics Podcast. For more information, please visit us at Laymen'sEconomics.com. That's LAYMENS economics.com. Also, make sure to visit our Facebook page for more great stuff. Check us out at Facebook.com/Laymen's Economics. Again, LAYMENS Economics. We're also on Instagram at Layconomics, or LAYCONOMICS. This podcast is sponsored by ICFO Consulting, equipping nonprofits, churches, and small businesses with the necessary accounting tools to carry out their vision and make an impact in their communities. Visit us at www.icfoonline.com. Again, thank you for listening to this episode of Laymen's Economics. Until next time, peace, love, and a balanced budget.